Welcome to Rare Meat for Moms, parenting tools and life hacks for raising a child with a rare diagnosis. I'm your host, Megan Weaver. Let's get to the meat of it. Hey everyone, today we are talking about gamifying mealtime for picky eaters. Now, I'm not just talking about your one rare child, your child with sensory issues, or your child with oral motor planning challenges. I'm talking about addressing the picky eaters in your entire family. In fact, my husband said, "Can I get in on this?" And I said, "I'm sorry, no, I'm only incentivizing the children on this one." So listen up, because we are taking mealtime back. It is not going to be the fight that you have been experiencing every single breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then people leaving the table in tears or eating the same old rotation like my daughter was on hummus, banana, yogurt, bread, pasta. It's exhausting. I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and my middle child is my child with a rare genetic disorder. She has the oral motor planning challenges, also sensory issues, and eating can be exhausting for her, but she is tiny and I need to get calories in her. I need her to try an array of foods so that she can get a full balanced diet and the nutrition that she needs. And for my other 2 kiddos, every meal I felt like a short order cook. One child likes only melon. Another child only likes berries. Rowan only ate a banana. So you can see where with our family of 5, it was becoming exhausting after years and years and years of feeding babies and then continually feeding Rowan. And then she starts self-feeding and she won't touch anything new. So I decided to take mealtime back into my own hands by gamifying it. And it has worked wonders. There is no time that is too early to start this with your family. Whether you have one child or you have a whole house of picky eaters, this is the time to start, and everyone's going to be excited about this. Are you ready? This is how it works. It's called putting it on the list. The goal here is for your child to say, not only, "Fine, I'll eat it," but, "Will you make this again?" Or, "Please put this in my lunch." So that's the qualifications for it going on the list. Not, "I finished it, can I put it on the list?" No. I finished it, and the next time you serve it, I'm going to be excited to eat it, and I will not complain. It's going to be life-giving for you, okay? Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready for how life-giving this is going to be. So what you need, a piece of paper. It can be a piece of art paper, piece of printer paper, the back of a receipt. I don't care what it is. We started with my kids' art paper. I just tore out a piece of white paper. I put it on the fridge. I put each of their names at the top, and we set a goal. We wanted to see who would have the most new things on their list by the end of the month. Now you can start this in the middle of the month and still say, who's going to be the winner of September? And I explained to my children, you might have to try 100 things to win this competition. And your sibling might need to try 20 things to win this competition. Everyone's different. And so be aware that if you are the pickier eater, you're going to need to try more things in order to agree to have them on the list and made again. What this does is it encourages trying just 1 or 2 bites when a meal is presented. Not only that, but it gets them excited about trying new things. They start saying, if I try this, can I put it on my list? They're asking me to try things off of my plate. If we're brave enough to go to a restaurant and I order something, they'll ask to taste it now. And then they'll say, "Ooh, I like this. Can I get this next time?" That is the most exciting thing for me, for them to be discovering and exploring new textures, new flavors, new ethnic dishes. It will set them up for such success as adults. And their spouse will thank you one day when they're eating more than just buttered noodles. Now, for Rowan, our rare kiddo, it's not going to be as easy for her, but because it's not as easy, I make different parameters for her, and she doesn't understand the incentivizing part as much as the fun at the table when her brother and sisters are excited and say, Rowan, try this. All right, open up. We're going to just one bite, and then you can have some more hummus. They have buy-in to get her to add things to the list too. They are her biggest cheerleader, and it applies to this as well. So I've explained to you one way you can set up the rules. Whoever has the most wins the month. That person gets to choose a treat of their choice. Now, usually what I do is I pick a local ice cream shop or a chocolate shop, and I say, whoever wins can go pick out an item from the chocolate shop. My oldest is the most competitive. She won the first month. She went and picked a chocolate rose. The next month, I told them they both had a chance to win. All they had to do was beat their number from the previous month. So my daughter, who had won, now had to get more than her brother to earn her prize this month, but she just had to increase her number by 1. Her brother also was excited that he didn't have to chase his competitive sister in order to keep winning. He was going against his previous number. That made it a little bit more fun and kept them engaged in month 2. Now, we couldn't keep up this pace of one-upping every month because they were trying a lot of foods. And I was adding so many things to the list. I had a huge food bank to choose from when making dinners and packing lunches. So from there, we started setting goals. Whenever you hit 15, you get your treat. And you might get your treat next week, or you might get it in 3 months. That's up to you. Now, throughout this whole time, they're continually telling me, Rowan's going to try this. Rowan liked this. Put it on her list. They don't like to see their list getting longer while hers stays short. It's posted on the fridge. People will come by and say, whoa, who had squid for dinner the other night? And I would say, oh, that was my son. I had a squid salad for dinner and he wanted to try a bite and he loved it. Let's talk about the type of foods that are allowed to go on the list. This is your house. These are your rules. I will advise you to start with easy options. This includes dessert. The kids will say, this is dessert. Can I put it on the list? And in the early months, the answer was yes. But it wasn't, oh, I'm trying chocolate ice cream and I've only ever eaten vanilla. It was, I'm going to try toffee for the first time or flan, something extreme like that. You like cake already? No type of cake can go on the list. You want to try some cheesecake? Go for it. Once they learn that they like almost every type of dessert and they're more willing to try those different textures and flavors, dessert is ancient history on the list, okay? Where you can start with your children that have sensory issues or difficulty chewing, as Rowan does, is find the foods that they like and find something very similar. An example would be if they like orange carrots, try feeding them tricolor. Trader Joe's has the sliced, frozen, purple, yellow, orange carrots. Saute them, they're soft, cut them up, put them into pasta or rice. Pasta or rice is a vehicle for flavor and a bridge to new foods. Get it in there small, the next time a little bit bigger. Put it next to the food that they already like. My daughter loves tomatoes. It was an easy suggestion to try yellow cherry tomatoes. And then they could put them on the list. And then there's another option for their lunchbox. Start circling items on the list that everyone in the family likes and start building your meal plans from there. Another suggestion to make it fun is think about different ways to serve it. My kids love chicken nuggets. Rowan still hasn't gotten on board there. So the next step was moving to a different flavor. We tried the orange chicken from Trader Joe's. Instead of serving it with rice like I was tempted to do, I served it with toothpicks like they might at the mall when you're getting a sample. And now my kids like to only eat orange chicken with a toothpick. And it's on 2 of their lists. We're still working on Rowan. Another idea to help build their lists is to start serving bowls at dinner. Rice bowls, breakfast bowls, and put toppings out and let them customize it. My kids did not eat grits until we started the list. And now they build their grit bowls. They start with the base, and then they might add a type of cheese, maybe pepper jack instead of their traditional cheddar. They might top it with bacon or get a little adventurous and try some crumbled up sausage, perhaps some Adele's pineapple bacon sausage, which has become a huge hit and was something that I just grabbed at the store and thought, I bet they'll try this. And then they loved it. You can top it with fun things like a fried onion crunch, sauteed vegetables, and think about when you're serving, for example, fried rice. If they start picking out the edamame, you can say to them, I know you like the fried rice. If you eat the edamame and you like it, you can put the edamame on your list, even though it wasn't a main food served at dinner. It was a part of it and you didn't pick it out. Now, here's the fun part. Once they say, please put it on the list, you're going to fill up these lists and you're going to keep these. These are your documentation when complaining starts. Keep them in the kitchen. I keep them in a drawer underneath the placemats to pull them out in the middle of dinner when someone goes, ugh, I don't like this. And I say, oh, hold on, excuse me, 1 second, hold that thought. I pull out the list and I'm like, let's look at the evidence. Have you been incentivized? Did you get ice cream for telling me to put this on the list? And that conversation is shut down pretty quickly. And then you have the freedom to continue to make it. As you get going gamifying mealtime, the kids look forward to what's for dinner and the possibility of something new and a chance to add it to their list. They start getting upset when it's the same old spaghetti and there's nothing new they can try. And then they say, how am I ever going to get 15? I'm never going to get there. So it gives you the freedom to offer a new thing for dinner every night. I'm going to share some items from our lists to give you some ideas to get you brainstorming. And then I'll post the pictures of the list on my website on the blog, and I'll share them on Instagram on the podcast content, where you can also see a video from back in the day when we first started the list. You can see my picky eaters and how we started to build the list. And we had a little bit of fun with that. Items on the list. I get really excited when the same item is on multiple names. An example of that would be a meatball sub. Super easy to make, throw it together, chop up the meatballs, mix it into some rice for Rowan with a little bit of the sauce. Even just putting a little bit of cut up meatballs with her pasta, that's a meal for everybody that I can have success with. If 2 out of 3 kids like a meatball sub, then 4 of us are having meatball subs for dinner, and Rowan is having tiny pieces of meatball chopped up and mixed in rice or pasta with a lot of sauce. Another example is a different flavor of smoothie. I was buying the mini naked smoothie pack from Costco, and it has 4 flavors in it. My son only liked the mango flavor. My daughter only likes the berry flavor or the dark magic. And Rowan was only having the strawberry banana flavor. That's a pain. So we added a lot of new flavors, a pina colada smoothie for my son, a berry smoothie for my daughter, and a yogurt smoothie that looked different than what she was used to for Rowan. She was drinking a certain brand, and I got a smaller, completely different looking smoothie for her to try, and she drank it happily. I think it's really important that you mix up the brands that you buy. If you buy organic, a good friend of mine once told me, if you're always buying the same hummus, that hummus is going to have the same shortfalls every time, and your body is going to be exposed to whatever toxins or ingredients that are not ideal in that one brand. So mix up your brands of hummus and give some variety to your body. I feel like that's one of those things that once you hear it, you're like, oh, of course, that makes sense. I could make the hard-boiled eggs, or I could buy them from Costco or from Trader Joe's. But if I'm buying the same brand, it's the same egg with the same things in it that might not be ideal for her. So mixing up your choices of the same food is a good idea. I'll just tell you a couple of other surprising things. For Rowan, we were able to add rotisserie chicken. She does not chew meat very easily, but for whatever reason, she likes the white meat on a rotisserie chicken, and I cut it up and she'll feed it to herself with a fork. That's a win for me because there aren't a lot of things that she will self-feed. She would rather be playing than eating, and she would be 30 pounds if I let her. But instead, she's 10 years old and holding strong at 50 pounds, and I'm chasing her with a spoon all day and all night. So rotisserie chicken, how easy is that for the family? And I can make a rice bowl with rotisserie chicken or enchiladas or even a quesadilla. That's a big win. I mentioned the squid earlier for my son, but some other surprising things that they've tried and they've enjoyed are chicken tikka masala, balsamic goat cheese salad, crab dip, dried coconut strips for snacks, raspberry brie bites, drunken noodles with beef, chicken lettuce wraps, and a couple more for Rowan. She tried boba tea, tapioca pudding, and finally cottage cheese. Cottage cheese sounds gross to a lot of people. I actually kind of like it. It's got great protein for her. It's easy for her to tongue mash or swallow without chewing. And it's a nice break from hummus. And if you have a hummus lover in your house, like we do, there are so many varieties of hummus. Check out the dessert hummus if you haven't already been there and done that. Next tip, if you're like me, it is harder than a lot of things to take my children to the grocery store. And so they don't step foot in a grocery store very often. I go when they're in school. When they were younger, I would go in the evening when my husband got home, or if I had a sitter, I would pack that in. And I hated paying for a babysitter to buy food, but it was easier than taking my children. And that was before all the grocery pickup. Our kids are growing up now with all of these options to not step foot into a grocery store. So if you can take a special outing to the store and let them pick out a food that they might want to add to their list, that is an extra layer of fun, especially walking through the produce department. There's so many foods that they don't know what they are. And a lot of them look kind of cool and intriguing. A dragon fruit is an example of something that they might want to try, and maybe they won't enjoy it because it's got a lot of texture and a different flavor going on, but at least they're learning about the food and they're selecting it and they're making choices. Help them make healthy choices and then go find some things that are special treats. So examples of that are, what are they going to take to school for snacks? I shared that they like the coconut strips and that's on their list. That's something that if I had bought that and put it in their lunch, they would have said, what is this? But either they saw it in one of their friends' lunches or they saw it on the shelf, or someone was offering it as a free sample at Costco. And they said, ooh, I love this. Will you put this in my lunch? And can I put it on my list? It makes the whole experience happier, more positive, less fighting over what comes home and what's not getting eaten. So make it fun and take them grocery shopping and let them each pick out one or two things to try that week that they could put on their list if they like it. And it's okay if they don't like it, at least they're trying it. Find a time when you can take them where it's not busy and it won't be stressful to you. It helps them explore the grocery store, find things that maybe you would never have thought to make for them. When I talked about the Adele's pineapple bacon sausage that my kids love, there's several other flavors. And I might have picked out some that I assumed they would like, but it was a hard no when they were in the grocery store and they said, no, I do not want the mozzarella flavor. Don't get that one. And maybe they would have liked it, but those are the kind of battles that it's not worth it right now. Maybe I buy it and I make it and they don't know the difference, but let them explore and have their choices and exercise some freedom. Take each win as they come and celebrate as a family when someone finds something that they love. My last tip is to make sure you let your kids pick their incentive. It's easier to say, we're all going to go to this ice cream shop and get ice cream. But if it's not one of the kids' favorite places, they're not going to be as motivated. So let them choose their treat and help them work towards it. I want to hear what foods are being added to the list in your house. And if you have a nonverbal child like I do, and you aren't sure how to know whether or not to put it on the list, if they take a bite and initiate that themselves, if they clean their plate, if they don't slap the spoon out of your hand and spray it all over the cabinets. That's kind of a win, right? So be liberal with what you add to their list. And if the next time you feed it to them and it's a hard no, cross it out and move on. I'm going to end with my 3 good things. 2 of them are food related. We've talked about the cottage cheese. It made it onto the list. We've talked about how a lot of the times, even though Rowan can feed herself, we end up feeding her at the table just to get that protein and those calories in her. We don't want her waking up at 5 in the morning because she's still hungry. We choose our battles, right? Do we want to be feeding her every bite? No, we do not. Do we want her uniform skirt to fall off as she climbs into the van? No, we do not. You choose your battles. So cottage cheese. My husband fed Rowan cottage cheese the other night just to finish up dinner. He's not a fan of cottage cheese. I love him though. He took one for the team and he fed her that cottage cheese. Now Rowan has an auto brush, toothbrush. I don't know if you've heard of that. I do have it linked on my website in the store. It's awesome. It goes in, it's like a tray, and she bites down and all these flashing lights come on and it plays music and it vibrates. And we help her with the auto brush, move it back and forth and change the settings. So the other morning, my husband woke up and he never dreams. I dream in detail every night and I bore him with the details of those dreams. You would imagine my delight when he said, "You would not believe the dream I had last night." I dreamt that I brushed my teeth with the auto brush, and instead of using toothpaste, I used cottage cheese. I am still laughing about that image. And I think you need to look at what the auto brush is and just picture mashing some cottage cheese in between those bristles and brushing your teeth with that. It's pretty disgusting. But the fact that that's what my husband's dreaming about now, that's a good thing for me. It's getting me through the day. And, you know, I would love to film. I would love to film that and put that on Instagram. Like, we're making dreams come true. We're brushing our teeth with cottage cheese over here, but that's just too gross. And I'm not going to waste a perfectly good auto brush head mashing cottage cheese in there because nobody wants to clean that out. Second good thing, food related. My dinner tonight for the kids is something that they all like, and it's only 3 ingredients, and it's heavy in calories. Rowan will love it. If you have a Trader Joe's next to you, you should definitely pick these ingredients up and try them. You know how they do the new fall pasta shapes? So I got the pumpkin pasta shapes, the lobster bisque soup, and then the langostino frozen tails. If you don't know what langostino is, it has the consistency of shrimp, but it tastes sweet, kind of like lobster. They're frozen. You can keep them on hand with the pasta, grab the lobster bisque, and you have a nice rich sauce with chunks of lobster in it. That's what we're having for dinner. Rowan loves it. I'm going to cut it up nice and small. I'm going to fatten her up with extra lobster bisque. And the third good thing, speaking of fattening her up, this girl is so teeny. She's our little string bean. The other day, her sister took a magic marker and drew an 8-pack of abs on her stomach, which I could not wash off. So she went to school and I just prayed that I wasn't gonna call her a picture from the teacher saying, there's some marks on your daughter's stomach. And then I guess I would just respond, well, she's been working out. 8-pack, it's making me laugh. It's a good thing. Cottage cheese in the auto brush and an easy fattening dinner for the kids. And I can make it light for me. Thank you for listening today. I hope you've enjoyed these life hacks and tips to gamify your meal. Let's rid the world of picky eaters. Let's create adventure around mealtime. Are you with me? You can find all of these resources on my website at meganweaver.com. That's Megan, MEGHANWEAVER. You can also follow me on Instagram at rare.meet.for.moms for pictures and videos of all these stories I'm talking about. Thanks for listening to Rare Meat for Moms. I'm Megan Weaver. Until we meet again.